My name is Rolf Heldal. I'm a Norwegian filmmaker. I'm living in Oslo. My background is quite a multifaceted. I have a background in medicine and archaeology, but also a master's degree from the London Film School. And I'm here with a short film that has a very long title, but it's a short film called Norwegian Nature, Suburbia, and the creatures living there. It's always difficult to tell what a film is about, because you very quickly go into this area where you're explaining the film. So for me, the film is more about how film works in general, and trying to replicate that. Like, an example is just artwork. Like the artworks that I really enjoy is the artwork that I can go in and I make the connection myself. I have to make out what it's about. So I see it as a framework, which is sort of like an open framework made of fragments, but these fragments are not connected. So you have to use some of yourself, some of your own experiences, some of your own memories, and you go into this thing, and then you connect the dots, sort of. So the film for me is about this process. And when I was making the film, I was thinking, how can I replicate those experiences I've had going to, like, seeing a great piece of art or music or something that I found very personal, and it always came back to this fragmentary construction of that piece of art. So I was thinking, how can I make a film that has the same properties? So I made a sort of a short, more of a simple narrative, and I tried to construct it in such a way that it wasn't any easy ways of understanding what the film was about. I hope the film works as more as a framework that you come into, and then everybody will have take away different things from it. That's been the great fun of talking to audience members after the screening, because they have such a wide range of interpretations, and they're all 100% sure that they have got the one. They know what it's all about. So for me, it's about creating something that can become personal to an audience member. There's maybe like 3 different cores it came out of. Normally when I do stuff, there's always like one idea, and then a couple of other ideas are sort of magnetically drawn to this first thing. So the first thing was just like an image of this creature that's in the film. It was sort of like I saw like this ragged person, almost like universal. It was difficult to pin down where he was from. He came out of the forest, and that's basically all I knew. And I saw him roaming around in Suburbia somewhere. And so I had that, and I also, for a long time, really wanted to combine more of sound work in my films, because I always felt that there's something with sound that really resonates with me, and also films that I really enjoyed has a very particular way of using sound to get to maybe the internal state of a person, or it's not just describing what's there, but it's telling a story sort of subconsciously. So this was the other thing I wanted to get to, like how to become better with sound. And then there's this third reason, which is like the banal, non-sexy reason, which is my producer calling me and yelling at me like, we need to do something now, and where's the script? Is it done yet? So that creates the deadline, the framework. The film was shot now 2.5 years ago. So it's a very long time since we shot, and just because of COVID, everything shut down. So for that reason, it's a very long time, but that time also allowed us to, because that was the same for the sound designer. Then he will suddenly have a lot less to do, and that allowed us to experiment and put a lot of sound into it. So in the beginning, we weren't supposed to have that much Foley, because Foley is like when you record all bits and pieces like footsteps and you put it in, and usually it's only fragmentary. But in this film, just because we had so much time, the whole film, I would say 95% of the film is made in the studio of Foley. So everything from his breath and the wind and the birds, and we went out and recorded. I think that the lessons learned is probably like more combined with the sound, I would say, because sound is usually like, it's just this afterthought, like normally. And it's also the way you taught in film school. You edit it, and then you sit there with the final edit, and then you just put in sound to I mean, it's basically a simple task. If you see a door shut, oh, here we need the sound of a door. But to make sound an integral part of the narrative, that I found very difficult, because if I just put in like a strange sound, then it sort of changed the whole narrative, and it allowed me to go in a different direction. But then the edit was already done, so you have to go back and forth and trying, or it's like working in parallel, having sound and image in parallel. For me, it's such an important thing to know that somebody has seen the film and also really connected with it and thought that, you know what, this film, I think it will fit for our audience, because each film, it's not suited for everybody. And you know, film distribution and film festivals is so much about matching up films with the right audience, and getting the audience that's actually interested in that type of film. So having a festival like DCU that actually, it feels like a great mix, just because a bit curious, and I think that will then reflect on the audience as well. So I'm very interested in seeing how the response will be. So that's probably the most exciting thing about going to such a great festival.